Hi, YouTubers. It's, I guess, after midnight. Yep, about a quarter after 12, so that would make this Monday. Go back to work after my weekend in 8.5 hours. I don't know, 8 and 3/4 hours. Um, it was a pretty good weekend. I talked about my tablet yesterday and all the help I got from Walmart. Um, Today I went and picked up my receipt for my old tablet, and now I'll be able to get it either repaired or get a uh, gift card or something for Walmart. Um, Either way is fine. But it was just so nice. When I turned on my phone last night, and they had already found the receipt and printed it up for me, and it was waiting there. And after church, we just went and picked it up. Church today was excellent. There was seven people baptized into the family, and it was always when people are baptized, but these were our young people. I don't know how old they are. Certainly old enough. Maybe 10, 12. I don't know. But they were. It was good to see young people choosing to follow Christ and have them baptized today at church, and that's always, always a joy to my spirit when I see anybody baptized, but especially a young person who's choosing Jesus. So that was a real high point of my day. Let's see, and there was quite a few people at church too. When we started going there was maybe 20, 24 people there on Sundays several years ago. Today there was over 40. So um, probably closer to 50. I think I counted 48, but you never know if somebody was in the bathroom or whatever. But I don't know exactly. But there was quite a few, probably about double what there was on a typical Sunday when we started attending. So that was good. After church, we stopped at Walmart and picked up the receipt. And we went to pick up my mom. And I've mentioned before that she has Lewy body disease. And she has, the last few weeks, 3 weeks or so, she's had a lot of difficulty. The nursing home where she lives is wonderful. It's small, 61 beds. It's a very family atmosphere, and when you walk in, you don't feel like you're walking into a nursing home. Well, I mean, you do. I mean, it's obviously a nursing home. But the spirit of the place is more alive and friendly and warm, rather than people coming to work and getting through their shift and going home. Um, but the last 3 weeks or so, she's been having a real rough time. She started with a lot of anxiety, and that quickly accelerates to anger and frustration. And of course, she takes it out on people around her. They handle her really well. They have techniques that they use to handle her, but sometimes when she gets to that point, it's real difficult. She did have a UTI, which would explain it, but it lasted longer than the antibiotics did, and she's still having more difficult times than she usually does. I know that a couple times she's been sent to a psychiatric facility where they've been able to uh, adjust her medications, and both times that she's had to go there in the 6+ years that she's lived at the nursing home, they've done really a remarkable job of helping her, and she's come back much more content. I was kind of thinking that's where we were headed again this time, but apparently not. She wasn't quite herself today, but she was good enough that I felt I could bring her home for a while. We were having pizza for lunch, and so after church, and so I asked her if she wanted to come over for pizza, and she was here a little over an hour and was ready to go back. Now, when all this started, she would come over for the whole day, and she would come over for a couple days a week or 3. Now she does not do well away as much from her routine and her patterns in her own room and her own things. Um, and gradually her time that she spends outside have been less and less and less, but she starts getting really anxious, and of course anxiety will build, and We don't want her to get out of control when she's here. That would be the last thing she's wanted, or that we'd want, or that she would want if she knew. She is, her personality is intact pretty much still. She's able to carry on a conversation. She still does her own self-care and everything. Um, she's ambulatory. She gets around fine. In fact, her big Suburban, she just climbs up into it like a monkey. So all that she does real well with. She converses just like you or I would. The only difference is what she says is not always rooted in reality. It's rooted in her reality, which is different from anyone else's. So, um, but she sounds like she's making perfect sense, and she is to her. As with anybody with dementia, it's impossible for them to join in our reality. So arguing or correcting her or whatever is not only futile, but asking for trouble, and it's going to add to her anxiety, and it's going to add to her issues and her problems. She doesn't need any of that. So as always, we join her in her reality. Whatever she's talking about, we just follow the thread and we converse as if it were real, um, because to her it is. Um, so it's impossible for her to join us in our reality, so we have to join her in hers, or else it just creates problems, frustration and tears and worse. But anyway, I was pleased because it's been 3 weeks since I've been able to take her anywhere, and I was really pleased to be able to bring her here, even if it was just for an hour and a piece of pizza. She got to play with the dogs and the cat, which is always good for her. They love her. And her great grandson, my grandson, was here, of course. And so that was all, it was all good. And she liked our new Suburban. So um, anyway, that was pretty much all I had to say tonight. I wanted to talk about my mom a little bit. It's strange to see her as my mom and see her personality, but her cognition just isn't there, and um, her memories never happened, and her um, plans never can happen, and um, so it's a particularly cruel disease. Any dementia is. Um, well, that's it for that. Tonight for dinner, like I said, we had pizza for lunch, so there, it was carby. Tonight for dinner, I had to make some bacon anyway. I had about a pound and a half in the freezer that I thawed. And then the big Farberware that had been my grandmother's big Farberware chicken fryer, big, deep, heavy thing. Um, which if I could only cook in one thing, that would be it, because there's so many different ways you can cook in it. But anyway, I fried up the bacon in that. Then in the bacon fat, I fried up some hunks of cauliflower. And when that started to soften or whatever, I pushed them to the side and threw in some of the chuck steaks that we get from the meat market, Steve's, that we like. Actually, they come as chuck roasts, and we slice them in half horizontally and cook them like steaks, and thus they taste like steaks. And it was so tender and mouthwatering. It was just perfect meat tonight, cooked in that bacon fat with just seasoned salt on it and just the fried cauliflower on the side. It was really, really good. Now I have to wait 2 hours before I lay down, so that's one of the reasons I'm doing this so late. I ate at 11 and I can't lay down until 1. So that's one of the rules or whatever after having the Nissen funduplication that I've mentioned in the past, is that you don't want to lay down on a full stomach. So you wait a couple hours. You don't want to do anything that's going to put pressure on it. But I'll do this. I'll finish this and get it uploaded. And I did all my bird cages today. I scrubbed them all, took them apart, took parts outside, scrubbed them all, and that's kind of a big job. I woke up this morning with some reason for a real, like a pinch thing in my shoulder neck area, and it went up my neck and my shoulder, and so I've been kind of in hurting today. Not that I've hurt badly enough to not, to rest it or anything, or probably could have put ice on it. I don't know. But after doing all the bird cages, I'm kind of sore, so I didn't do much else except for making dinner and making my husband's lunch, which, ashamed to say, I gave him a TV dinner and a dish of cottage cheese. Um, that's what I do on the nights that I just am not up for making anything more creative than that. Um, but tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow I'll be working. Our grandson won't be here tomorrow night, although my husband will be sleeping. So in the evening, I don't know what I'll do. I know I've got a lot of things to do around here, and that's probably what I'll do. But anyway, I wanted to check in. I wanted to talk about my mom a little bit, and um, that and that's pretty much it, I guess. So have a good day tomorrow. Start your week well, and the rest of the week should follow. God bless. Good night.